Tina.
Let's go. Back with another one. ATAS
Boop, 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 boop,
number
boop, boop.
30.
Yeah.
We out here, man. Yo,
Yeah,
we doing
buddy.
it for the dirty 30. ATAS has turned 30. We got 30 episodes down, and we just want to say thank you first and
Mhm.
foremost to those who have been seeing us through this journey. Thank you to God because He's definitely been blessing us through this
That's what
journey.
I'm saying, man.
And
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I mean, you already know I'm Ace of Cross Culture. We on the stream. Even streams are on my channel, and the odd streams are on my co-host channel. Go ahead, tell them who you are.
Man, it's your boy Tipsy Japan. Back with another episode of ATAS Across Time and Space. Episode 30. Man, we're getting grown now. It's that grown man. Now, when you reach 30, that's when the frame is set. That's 1/30 of life,
Yeah,
right?
man.
All right, it's done. But we there. We there. And it's not 1/3 of the stream. It's not even. I mean, but we got rivers of flowing with a flowing stream of consciousness. All right, coming at y'all live. 12:30 in Japan, 1:30, 11:30 on the East Coast of the United States, and wherever else you get your podcasting, your YouTube, all that, your Instagrams, your tweets, your twits, your TikToks. Yeah, we
man.
in there.
Trying to
Now, I'm
come
doing
to
this
it.
today
Come
because
through
it's a celebration. It's a big day. We're on number 30, and it's Independence Day tomorrow. So
Yeah.
we're celebrating it today. We got a big bonanza going on. A bonanza.
Bonanza. So hold on,
Yeah.
we got our first comment of the night on the live stream.
Yeah.
And Water Pulse Laser is asking if he has to get us a pearl because it's our 30th anniversary. You know, I mean, if you want to donate to the channel, we're not gonna say no. You know, we can definitely use that money. Definitely use that money. But yeah, all joking aside, we definitely want to big shout outs to Water Pulse Laser. He's been like since day one.
He's
Just
been a
in
water
there since
pulse
day one.
laser. Just boop, 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 boop. I don't even know how that sounds, but like it's a move, man. That's a move. It's a powerful move. All right.
Oh yeah. All right. So I know that I've been spreading the word a little bit on my side of things. A few people have been asking about the stream, and it's like, oh, I didn't even know you had a podcast.
What?
But yeah, because I wasn't spreading it in person. You know, I'm not trying to be that guy to bring it up at work and at church, but you know, some things have been coming out. So for those who don't know, you know, maybe you're new here. We're reading through the book Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. And this week's chapter is a permanent revolution. So the thing about it, this chapter talks about a lot of the ways of now. Now we're kind of getting through all of history and we're coming up to now. And one of the biggest things that has changed in the dynamic is the family. When people move out of their households, when it's accepted to get married, and the part that industry plays in that everyday person's life, the part that family now plays. You know, there was a huge shift in dynamic. It used to be married off, or there was an arranged marriage. You stayed with your parents until that marriage took place, and then you go live with that person, and then just everything was taken care of. That's just the way society was. And nowadays, it's a little bit different. You know, we got people moving out at 18 to go to college and then never going back home. But there are still even some people that do go back home and stay with their parents till 20, 30, 40, then get married when they have, you know, all of their groundwork laid, moving out. But the journey does look different for all of us. So what I want to ask is what stood out to you, Tipsy? Because, I mean, there was a lot of little things that were kind of like jabs and informational, but I want to know what stuck out to you first.
I'm glad you asked, and I'm glad I'm not
There it
muted
is.
anymore, so you can hear me. Uh, well, the thing that hit me the hardest was this
Hmm.
idea of the collapse of the family,
Hmm.
the collapse of the family
Okay.
and the community, like that whole piece right there. The reason for that is that, you know, I hadn't really thought about it before, but my family is large and powerful, right? On my pop's side, my pops had 16 siblings, and my
Hmm.
mother had 11 siblings, right? Brothers and sisters.
Hmm.
And it wasn't even rare for like my grandmother's sisters and that lineage right there to have a lot of kids. And we have this kind of ethos within the family that, like, at the end of the day, family got you. Right? That's the F word right there, man. Like, you know, and that ethos has shifted over the years. But when my mother was coming up, it was like, if you act up, it's not just going to be your mother that's going to get on you and tear that up, but
Oh
aunts and
man.
uncles, everybody, is going to get a
Everybody
piece
getting
of
a
that.
piece.
Yeah, and it was like understood at that time. But then on the flip side of that, if you need anything, family got you. Um, if somebody's giving you trouble, family got you. You look at it like Italians. I mean, it felt something like that type of thing. And yeah, that's starting to fall apart. I mean, not starting to fall apart. What Mr. Harari was saying is that, it's really people relying on society now. These little family units and family community type thing is not the main source of support. Um, Case in point, in the States, we have Fannie Mae and all these different organizations that help you out and go into university. But in the past, it was only the families that had the money that were able to provide education for their
Hmm.
kids. And I mean, even if you look at royalty, that's a family thing. That's showing you how important the family unit is in that country. Um, in Japan, the family unit is still strong. The emperor still exists, and his family is still, a symbol. You look at the UK, the Queen. How many years has she been in? It was the big
Too
jubilee the other day
many.
was the 80, 90. I mean, she's been in power for a long time. Diamond Jubilee,
Rocking it.
Whatever. We're Americans, so hey, we don't really care like that. But I'm just saying, that's showing how important that family unit is, and how far a family could go. In the States, the family unit is something else, and the power of the state under certain types of political systems, is goes a lot farther than it does abroad, and a lot farther than even a conservative, Christian minded person would normally think. The reach of the law, the reach of the government into people's lives and the dictates of how people's lives should go, is very similar to the way that the reach was in families before. For example, in Japan, if grandfather don't like the person that you about to bring home, you're not getting married. You're not.
Hmm. I
And
see.
and what kind of leverage does grandfather have over you? If you're excommunicated from the family, like, you're just gonna die. You're not gonna make it. That's
That's
how important family relationships were.
insane.
I mean, people share foods in communities, and the communities too. But these, like, person to person relationships rather than the government relationship. Um,
Hmm.
like in America, it feels like they're pushing this story that the government, like, all you really need is to do your thing, and the government will have you kind of to support you. But if you want to be single, you can live your whole life single and happy. If you want to, get married to whatever you like to get married to, the government has you. If you don't want to, I mean, if you have like an unwanted, that's what the message is right now. Not unwanted but undesirable baby. Look, like, at the top of the government, that's what the Supreme Court said. Hey, you know No, we're not. We're not. You don't really get that option to just, rearrange things and have it your way.
Yeah.
But that's what the argument is right now. Like, you pro-choice, pro-life. In up to this point, for the last, how many years was it? 40? That was
Yeah,
quite a
for
while. Roe
quite a
versus
bit.
Wade. Roe versus Wade. I didn't even realize I was going to go this direction, but the nature of the stream versus Wade was in
You chopping up a little bit.
1973. So, like I said, 40 years. Boom. 40. Ooh,
39.
39. Yeah. That's up there. No. Because look, 84. I'm 84 and it's 38 right now. So that's plus 10. That's 48. So just about 50 years.
48.
All right. You had, abortion as an option supported by, the Supreme Court. And you don't have that anymore. People are up in arms about it. And with good reason. Because like you say that the government has this much reach into your life and they're going to allow you to do this thing, like the government is really involved in people's, decisions. And yeah, so that conversation was interesting to me. That's where I said that this chapter and that discussion about the family deciding how things go, rather, shifting more towards the government allowing and supporting people in whatever decision that they make.
So, I mean, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is how this case even came up, Roe versus Wade. And the reason why it was made into a thing was because people either didn't want to have children, found out they were pregnant, or couldn't support, so they didn't want to bring child in. And because America has always been a Christian founded country, it's more so, all life is precious, so you can't get rid of this child. So there weren't any abortion clinics in order to do this thing cleanly and legally. So people were
doing it,
taking tumbles down the stairs and using rusty coat hangers and things like that. And then this whole thing, the whole court case, Roe versus Wade, got out and it became legal for abortions to happen. And now we're telling people who've been doing for the last 50 years, it's no longer an issue. So what was cited in the original case, I think, once was the issue of privacy. And the big thing is that in the Constitution, it doesn't say anything about privacy. So it's not constitutional. Okay, we got another listener.
We do. I'm ready for the shout out. I'm just like, yo, do we have permission?
I mean, do we have permission to?
Yeah, I know on cross culture, you have respect. People's privacy.
We don't just put any privacy, or if you gotta. I mean, it is only the first initial.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. It's not an actual name.
It's not.
Shout out to old brother. Say
yeah. Oh, Scott.
Hey, in the building.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do have permission. But one of the big things is the safety is what needs to be concerned about for abortions. And personally, I feel like it shouldn't be a thing. Abortion shouldn't be a thing. But the reality is that it was and still is. And it's not for me to choose for somebody else their decisions, whether or not they're going to go for or against. But the overturn of Roe versus Wade puts it in the state's hands. So it's not like, abortion is, illegal across the board. It's just saying, okay, well, fine. You as a state, your legislature can go ahead and decide if you're for or against it, and what's going to happen with that. And then there might be traffic going to states that have it legal. You know, I don't know which way California is really leaning on it right now, but let's say Arizona is like, oh, well, you know, it's legal here. And people are just going to flock over there for a good afternoon and then come right back. So it's kind of the same thing with with
people going in California.
weed dispensaries, because there's people who it was legal in their, or it wasn't legal in their state, so they would travel, you know, get their good stuff, maybe hang out for a weekend, and then go back to their state of origin. So I mean, if people want to do it, they're going to do it, and I feel as long as you're being safe in doing it, that's completely your choice. And that's what it boils down to. It is a thing of choice, because whether it's legal or not, people are going to do what they want to do. But I did want to talk a little bit about the dynamic of the family, only because it's seen as a big thing that has changed. So, like you were saying, the family as a whole, their role has changed so much. And one of the big things is that industry has come in and government has come in and said, oh, well, you know, whatever you want to do, we got your back, just like you were saying. But what then is the role of the family? So, I mean, the role of the family, from what I've seen, is the initial is like instruction. You know, as a kid, you know, you learn from your parents, and then you go to school, and then it's supplemented. And then you're supposed to get your education from government, whether it be a private institution or a public institution. There's still some checks and balances from the government to make sure that everything is, they're not being instructed to overthrow the government or anything like that. But then you have the emotional side of things. And that is what's supposed to be seen as the job for your nuclear and extended family, is the emotional sides of things, to where you can run to your mom and bear your grievances. Oh, you know, these people at school are treating me like this, and you know, what can be done about it? That's kind of your family's job and position. Religion is your family's job and position. Nutrition, for the most part, has to be carried out by your immediate family, whether or not they're adhering to government guidelines. So it's more supplementary. The job of the immediate family is seen as more supplementary to what actually is in the grand scheme of things. So we experience a little technical difficulties. Let's see if we can. All right, we got you now.
Yeah, I'm in there.
All right.
I had to switch gears. It's because it's number 30, right? You started.
Yes, exactly. Satan don't want us to have number 30.
I'm telling you.
We're gaining traction. That's the problem right now.
Yeah. So
all right.
I'm coming in smooth now, right? That's for the people.
Yeah. You smooth now. I was like, oh dang, I ain't got no no nothing, no feedback at all.
Yeah. You could tell I was chiming in. But I'm connected the way you are now.
Okay.
So the thing is, right? Families, it's a real interesting place. And I think I have to say this for others who may not be in fact, if you're in the comment section right now, you can go ahead and chime in. But if you've heard of, like, the government coming in and kind of telling you how you're going to raise your child, you know, um,
Hmm.
then let me know. All right, let us know, because I hear these horror stories, and it's just like, I mean, you can't chastise your child, you can't tell them this, you can't tell them that. And then in school, you can't put them in timeout. At home, you can't put them in timeout, can't touch them. And it's just like, no, I'm gonna raise my
What?
kids the way I learned to raise my kids, but you got to be careful, right? Because it's a new day,
Mhm.
and the government, dictating how to raise children. It was a family only thing before. The government wasn't even concerned. In fact, in Japan, I know of people who said that, if that child is acting up, you take them in the mountains, and then take them out. Look, I brought you in this world. I can take you out. And that's it. Period.
Whoa, chill. It's almost I'm
Bye.
taking to the mountains.
Bye.
Dang.
Bang.
That's
Yeah.
some Tanjiro from Demon Slayer type of thing. Oh yeah, you find your way down this mountain and you will survive.
Yes, I'm gonna
Other
toss
than
you
that,
over the cliff. Like
you're dead.
that was cool. Yeah, if they make it, they're
No.
dead. But it's not like it's a crime. That's your own seed. That's your own you. Know what you
Oh
mean?
gosh.
Where's the crime?
That's
No
pretty
foul.
crazy.
No foul.
No harm, no foul. Right?
Yeah. So
Mm.
families having things dictated to them by the government. Like, I feel like the more assistance that you get from the government, the more that they have say.
Well,
But that's not
I
necessarily.
say yes and no though, because there's families that don't have assistance. Like let's say that you're making $100,000 a year. You
Mm.
have a nice
Six figures.
house, 6 figures. Nice house,
Mm.
white picket fence, two and a half
Mm.
kids,
Mm.
like
2.5.
the American dream,
Mm.
right? The government still dictates what your child learns in school. The
In
government
school.
still dictates um, the nutrition that they should have at home. So whether or not you're on assistance, I feel like there needs to be these regulations. And yes, sometimes there's an overstep. It's not to say that is always the line is always going to be a clean break, but
Mm.
we as Black people
Mm.
are prone to high blood pressure and diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things for the government to step in and do was the whole food pyramid, and to redo the food pyramid
Yeah,
to
the upside
incorporate
down food
exercise.
pyramid, right?
And then no, not even the upside down one. They came out with one a few years ago where it incorporates exercise. So it has like the pyramid, and then on the side of the pyramid it has a person climbing stairs. Like, hey, you need to be
Oh.
exercising. Putting on the labels what a serving size is, like blatant, like boom, this is a serving size.
Mm.
These are the calories you get for this serving size. And
Mm.
having that all laid out, because childhood obesity and diabetes, especially in the Black culture,
Mm-hmm.
is something that is serious.
Mm.
And we're dying. Well, I'm pretty sure that the death rates due to heart disease are coming down a little bit for us,
Mm.
but it was the
Disproportionate.
high sodium, like
Sodium
everything,
sugar. Sodium sugar.
sodium
All
and
right.
sugar.
Kool-Aid
Yeah, yeah.
with all this red number 5,
Oh
40,
yeah,
high fructose, everything. Oh
high
my
fructose everything.
God.
Yeah,
Like, in
just
heaven, help us.
just
Really.
look at baked macaroni and cheese. Like I made baked macaroni and cheese for my coworkers at work,
Yeah.
and I basically live in Little Mexico, and they loved it.
Mm.
Um, but
But but
would I do that at home all the time? Bake macaroni and cheese? No, because you do have to put. I don't
mm,
put salt in mine. I don't put salt
okay.
in mine because I don't believe in putting salt and cheese in the same dish. To me, it just comes
Mm.
out too salty. But you do put a lot of seasonings in there. You put
Seasonings, general.
adobo,
Adobo
like
has your salt. Calm down.
yeah, it has
That's
salt,
got your salt right
but
there.
I'm not just adding salt.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I know people that add the adobo and add salt. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna just add salt to it. You know, there's a couple other things in it, and then you have milk, um, not sweetened condensed milk, but not heavy cream either.
Mhm.
But it's you put the milk in there, then you also put raw egg. I
Yeah,
mean, and all of this stuff cooks, but it's still a lot of sodium
ain't
because
nothing
of
healthy
just
about it.
the amount of cheese that you have to put.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's when you get soul food. You know, it's not good for you, but it tastes real good.
yeah.
I mean, it's just that culture that we have to overcome. You
That's what I'm
know,
saying.
part of
But
our genes.
do you overcome it internally, or do you allow the government to help you out with that?
But I mean, if it weren't for the government,
Mm.
would we know?
What do we know?
No, that'd be a no because they were regulating and still are
Mm.
regulating what we see as good nutrition.
Are they any
Nobody's
good at
talking
it?
about veganism and vegetarianism,
Yeah.
but you know, there's always chicken and pork and beef, you know, and these things are pushed because the industry needs to
So I'm
be
saying the
getting
government
money.
is shift. A lot of people believe that the government has shifted in the direction of lobbying anyway.
Hmm.
Food companies, I mean, all these cereals, man, like it's so much sugar in them, but it's such a big industry, all that wheat. It's just like, look, we got the money. We're going to push the government. Government's going to make the standard, and they're not going to say there's anything wrong with our product. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, 50, 60 years later or less, you see the result. Why is all this gluten free now? Why wouldn't the government say that before? You
Yeah,
know,
non-GMO and organic, and yeah, I mean now
they do.
people are coming up and stating that this is bad. And there's
Yeah.
been health studies and everything done before, but now people are actually getting behind the research to where it's
Mm,
not just the research that's done and going out the window, but people are like,
mm,
whoa, that seems like a good idea. I want to get behind that. Why can't I find gluten-free
mm.
options? Why is my body swelling up the way it is? You
Yeah.
know, I need to have less sodium, so I need low sodium options to
Hmm.
where, I mean, I like V8. Like I actually like V8. If there's a choice
I
of
used
V8
to. I
and
used to. I used to. I used to.
something
What
sugary,
tell the people what V8 is? Because over here in Japan, we don't have
all
V8.
right. So V8 is a vegetable drink. It's literally 8 different vegetables blended up together. It's like, ooh, I think there's carrots, beets, definitely mostly tomato,
Hmm.
um, some celery in there, and then a few other things. So growing up, I never heard of a low sodium V8. Never in my life.
Yeah,
Never in my life. But
I remember
now
seeing it. Yeah.
my wife uses V8 to make soy ceviche. And ceviche is a traditional dish, Mexican dish made with fish. And you
Mm,
usually take like a white fish, like a tilapia, you squeeze lemon
yeah.
over it, and it has a chemical reaction that actually cooks the fish. Then you mix that with clamato, which is clam and tomato juice, and
Yeah.
then celery, some carrots, or you can even do it with shrimp. So
No.
she uses V8
Well, yeah.
to
Where's the
make
fire?
what?
And she saute it with
Oh,
the. You said it
no, no, no,
actually
no,
cooks it.
no, no. It's literally a chemical reaction that happens between the lemon and the fish that cooks it.
Cooks it. So no need for fire.
No need for fire.
Okay. I just want to make sure that
It's
was
kind of
clear.
crazy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right?
Okay.
So I thought you said, "Where's the fire?" Like, oh, I know that Mexican people like their stuff spicy. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
It's a
yeah,
little better.
yeah, you know, you do put a little bit of hot sauce in there, but we've we've intentionally
Hmm.
taken salt out of our diets, and you know, we're trying to instruct our daughter on better uh, practices when it comes to that.
Better eating habits, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. But I mean, we're low on time. So
It's been
we're
that
gonna
fire,
wrap it
man.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, definitely want to say keep your family close. That's where you get your values from.
Hmm.
Um, the the government can't tell you what to believe in.
Yeah.
It's in the Constitution. Whether it be Roe versus Wade, for or against, whether it be Christianity, agnostic, atheist, what have you. Definitely want to say thank you for number 30. Keep us in your prayers. Positive vibes only, whatever you want to say. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for repeatedly tuning in. You got anything that you want to say?
No, thank you all for following along in the book. Now's the time to go ahead to get yourself a pen, a pad, write it down. It's your boy TPC Japan telling you that's what it is.
That's what it is. All right.
Yeah, that's.
Until next time, stay prayed up. Be blessed.